Gerard.
What's going on, my people, and welcome to the SN95 Power Channel. So today I've got a confession. So I have to say that the way this car is set up right now, it is slower than the way it was set up with my 75 millimeter turbo. So before you go punch that screen of yours, let me explain. I am self-tuning this. Like, my online tuner's a bum. This guy just ghosted me. And so I took it upon myself to self-tune. The good thing about having the Holley EFI, it's very intuitive and it's pretty easy to get your car on the road. And so that's what I've been doing. So I have my fueling pretty much dialed in right now. I've been able to do some wide open throttle pulls. I'm commanding 11.5 and I'm getting out 11.5. Now, the thing is, my timing at wide open throttle is only 13.6 degrees. That's very low, in case you don't understand. A lot of boosted guys on E85 sometimes will 22 degrees total timing. So I made it real conservative because A, I'm not a tuner. Even though, you know, the Holley is user-friendly, you still can have issues with detonation. So I dialed the timing way down low. So what we're going to do today is we're going to remedy all this slowness that's going on with this car. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, but the way it is right now, I think 10 PSI peak, I think it's nowhere near 10 PSI peak with the turbo setup. So never fear, E85 is here. And so what we're going to do today is get this pigtail set up. I already have the Continental flex fuel sensor plumbed. And so the only thing we really got to do is just wire it and do some tuning to get it right. Great thing is there's a ton of information on how to set this flex fuel tuning parameters up on your Holley EFI. Doesn't matter what platform you're using. The tuning procedure and the numbers are pretty much the same. So let's get started on this. I already made my little 10K resistor. This is something important that you have to have. And let's get to it. Another hot day out here. So excuse the noise of my fan, but I'm trying not to melt. So what we need to do is get access to the power tap. I already have my, oh man, where is this? My inputs and outputs right here. So what I need to do is get access to the power tap. Power tap is somewhere under here. So let's peel this muffin cap back and figure out where this power tap is. So I have to apologize to y'all again, because originally when I started the idea of doing this swap, I wanted to do like a very comprehensive Holley Terminator X Max install. And lo and behold, I lost the footage. But this is how I have all my wires ran underneath my carpet. Everything is, man, voice cracking. Everything is pretty much kind of the same as just a regular Holley Terminator X, except you have a couple of extra wires. This is like the transmission. I believe these two have something to do with the drive-by wires. It's a lot of spaghetti. It doesn't matter how you run it. I ran it this way because I thought that this was the best way possible for me to run it. My core drivers are here. My TI VCT driver is where the stock computer used to be. So what we're looking for is this power tap. It's 4 pins. And what this is going to do is going to give me my, let me see, A, B, C, D. I have to look at the wiring diagram, but I believe the green is ground. I don't know. Red is, the green is 12 volts, the orange is 5 volts. The black and white is something, and this solid black is ground. So basically these are the 4 wires that you need. I don't have my diagram in front of me, but on the flex fuel sensor, it's a Continental flex fuel sensor, you have 12 volts, you have ground, and you have a frequency. So I think the idea behind using the power tap, I really haven't done this research, I'm just going off of what people are saying, is if you don't use the ground, if you just use a regular chassis ground, your signal will have some noise, and you might not get a very accurate reading, a flex fuel reading. So everybody is using the ground from the power tap. You really don't have to use this 12 volts from the power tap, but it seems like everybody's using the 12 volts from the power tap. You make these a little parallel connection right here with the 10K resistor, and this is the 10K resistor is for the 5 volts on the power tap. So this will go to the power tap, and this one will go to your IOs over here. So I'm going to plug this in underneath, and then we'll find out how to route the wires up and through. All right, so we got a drain plug right here. What we're going to do is open this up and feed the wires through this to run to the power tap and stuff. Sensor is plugged in, and that's my little pass through. All right, so let's go through this. Let's start with the input first. So I need a frequency input, and so if you look at the instructions, sorry for the crazy camera angle, I'm using the white and black wire, which is input 3. These are already pre-configured in the Holley, so you don't have to do nothing but assign the ECU pin. Real simple. Come over here to the actual wiring. IOs right here, white, black wire. Great. Now, my 3 wires for the Holley. Let's go here. I went off this. This matches my colors, and so the A pin on this, which is black for ground, the C is what I need, which is the 5 volt reference, and the dark green, which is the 12 volt ignition. So my inputs, input outputs, again, black white input 2, that's going as my frequency. Pull up resistor right here, it's tied in parallel to that. That's going to the orange wire of the power tap, which is the 5 volts. Next is the red 12 volt wire, which goes to the green of the power tap, the dark green as they call it. And the last one is my ground, which is pin A, which is the black. The black and white wire is left empty. And that's it when it comes to the wiring of this. And so what I'm going to do now is push all this stuff back and try to make it look nice again. All right, so is it perfectly flat? No, I have a little lump right here. I think the average person who sits in his car is not going to be able to tell the difference. I don't think Kim is going to ask me like, hey, why do you have all this wiring under your carpet? I can feel it. So no big deal. And actually, even with this ECU, I don't even know where all that came from. So even with this ECU, I don't even know if I'm gonna spend the $100-something bucks that people want to charge you for the little mount. It's gonna be under the seat. It's not going anywhere. I mean, these wires aren't going to jiggle or nothing like that. I might Velcro it straight to the carpet. Save that $100 bucks. So now that we're done with this part of it, let's get into the software part of it. We'll go grab some E85 and see how good my wiring is. All right, so the new day. Got a chance to get everything wired up. Showed you that yesterday. And last night I started working on this tune. So you got to go to these advanced ICFs. One D table. And there's like a whole bunch of steps that you have to do first. So let me just rewind. So I'm using the input. And I name my input Flex Fuel. And it's a digital speed / frequency. Now this is a pre-configured input through Holley. All inputs do not have a frequency feature, but input 2 does. And you know, after you do that, you would go to configure. And from the drop down menu, you just select GM Flex Fuel. Then after you do that, you will see that mine is assigned right here. And the reason why it's assigned is because you go to pin map. After you configure that, you'll see that Flex Fuel, like it would be right up here. And so you'll just grab it and drag it down to whatever input that you want. And so these 4 pre-configured inputs from Holley feature a frequency. Frequency, ground, I don't know what these other 2 are for. And so now I have the input all set. And so now then I go to my advanced ICF table. And this is what you're going to set up. You enable it, you give it a name, and then from the drop down menu, it's Flex Fuel Multiplier. And then on this X axis, you'll be able to find whatever you name that input on this drop down menu. I labeled mine Flex Fuel. So this is the fuel table right here. Like I said, only thing you have to worry about is setup. Come down to the fuel table. You can find this full graph online. I left the first 3 values at 0. And for sensors, if you want to add that flex fuel, it's not in here because I already clicked it. I just typed in the name that I gave that input and I clicked it and dragged it right here under sensors. So now if I go right here, my flex percentage is right there. So let's see what's going on. I believe I saved it. Let's sync. I think it's going to require me to return. Sorry about that. Every time I connect to this Apple CarPlay, it cuts off my camera. So I think it's requiring me to cut the key off as it's doing this, because I changed the inputs and outputs. Yeah, okay. There we go. Okay. Let's go online. All right, this is driving me crazy. Every time I turn off the car and I'm recording, it switches this phone over to Apple CarPlay, and it cuts off my video recording. So right now it's saying low error, which I know that's not true, because like I say, here in Illinois, we do have 10% ethanol content in our fuel. So it should be reading at least 10%. But I don't know. I think what I might have to do is go get some E85. Get maybe 5 gallons, put it in here, see what happens. And if there is an issue, then I think I have to check my wiring, because I used the white and black wire. The white and black wire, I believe, was input 2. So I just need to double check. Flex fuel J1A3, that should be input 2. I don't have my instruction manual up in here, so I have to go online and find out. So we'll be back. All right, a player can mess up. We made a slight mistake. It's not input 2, it's input 3. So real simple correction. Done. Save. All right, so what I did is I just moved from the chassis ground to the sensor ground. Let's see. Okay. And it's still reading low. Now, like I said, that could be maybe my ethanol content is too low. I don't know. So the only thing I can do is A, start the car, and B, try to put some flex fuel in it and see what happens. So let's try to start the car first. Car's in the air. I have everything off. All right, it's still reading low. I have everything hooked as I should. My IOs is as they should be. It's enabled, configured, flex fuel, pin map, flex fuel, done. My table, let's enable table. Won't let me enable the table. Flex fuel multiplier, flex fuel. All right, there's no other flex fuel in here. Speedo, yep. Flex fuel. Table is enabled. Go online. And it's still saying 0. All right, only thing we can do now is just go get some E85, put it in here and see what happens. Look at that, y'all. I got the flex fuel sensor to work. I'm gonna break down what happened. So the pigtail came with some instructions stating which one is 12 volts, which one is the ground, and which one is the 5 volts reference. And I wired it that way. So my red and white wire went for 12 volts. My blue wire was my ground, and my white wire was my 5 volt reference. So I wired up as such, and that's why I was getting that low error. So I went to another page and found a diagram for the Continental flex fuel sensor, and this is what I found. All right, so these are my 3 wires. Like I say, the red wire was my 12 volt, the black wire is my ground, and this white was my 5 volt reference. So based off of how this is right here, it's reversed. The pigtail diagram was wrong, so I went based off of the sensor information. So the only thing I had to do was reverse these 2 wires. This pin right here is actually coming off the sensor is the 12 volt. The ground is the ground, but this bottom one right here is the 5 volt reference. I switched these around from inside the car, and it reads. All right, so we got a little E85. We're gonna fill it up. Well, not fill it up, but I think I have 4 gallons up in there. I have a half a tank of 93. We'll see what our We'll see what our O2 content is. I'm not using a 10K. This is a 7K resistor. I think everything is good up in here now, so I can work on putting all this stuff back, getting this wire tucked back under the carpet, fix these loose wires, and we should be good. So let me clean this up first. We'll add the 85, and then we'll come back, start it up, and see what kind of E85 content that we have. All right, so this is my fuel table. Let's get connected. Let's see if it's gonna read it right away, or does it have to start? It's table 2. No, it's gotta start. All right, we sit down about close to E30. Nice. I put, I think 4 gallons of E up in here. So this is beautiful. My target air fuel 14.5. We're at 14.5. It's good. Let's check what's going on in the background. This is my multiplier. So at about E30, it's adding 12% more fuel. So that's great. I just can't wait for the smell of popcorn to start circulating in this garage. Yeah, so that's some real exciting news. I'm glad that I got the E85 sensor taken care of. I've got like a cheap little cone style air filter on here. I'll probably upgrade that to like a high flowing one. And then we'll start turning up the, can't turn up too much because of the transmission situation. I don't have the built transmission in this car anymore, but I'm kind of skipping ahead on this. Like I'm recording this now after fully diagnosing what happened with the transmission. and I have some good news. So if you want to know what happened with this transmission, make sure you hit the bell notification and you subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be dropping the aftermath of this whole transmission situation very soon, and it's not what you think. So hey, I appreciate y'all rocking with me on this long video. Until next time, God bless.